Hi folk, my name is Gul'dan, and today we're going to be discussing whether the fact that I have spent over £1 on a single video game is ridiculous or it isn't ridiculous, and it's actually quite reasonable. But I think a lot of you are probably thinking, watching this video with that information, you probably think this video is pretty much over. The argument is completely over. Because that is, that figure is actually, pretty ridiculous. But, I've been playing the game for 10 years. Subscription was £9 a year, now it's like £10 a year. But I haven't actually been playing it for 10 years, it's probably like 11 years. So, yeah, I have probably easily spent over £1, including all the expansion packs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean that is quite a lot of money. A lot of you may be thinking that, oh well, the servers cost a lot of money. I've actually done a bit of research, and the servers, fair enough, when World of Warcraft first came out, it might have been quite expensive to run a server, but I think the technology has got to a point where, you can run a server on any piece of crap, or generally the technology is just a little bit cheaper, and as your quad-core processors cost a little bit less money now than they did a few years ago. That for instance. But I did actually do a bit of research. Blizzard did release a figure at one point, a rough estimate that basically their servers cost £50 million a year. That's like the general upkeep. That's not just the servers as well, that's like paying staff to develop things, paying game masters. So World of Warcraft costs £50 million a year. That is their running costs, £50 to £100 million. Oh no, not a year, sorry, that's a month. 50 to 100 million a month, and they make probably anywhere between £1.5 billion to £2 billion a year. Maybe not quite 2 billion, but a figure was once released of 1.7 billion. So yeah, I mean that is quite a lot of money, but I reckon they're probably making a bit more money now because you can buy gold and you can buy your, there's so many cosmetic things you can buy, and you've got the character boost and stuff like that. But anyway, let's look at this these bullet points here. I've covered that bullet point. I think generally, a subscription game is a little bit archaic. I mean, who the hell subscribes to anything these days? Apart from my YouTube channel, hopefully. But when you actually pay a monthly fee for, I mean, fair enough you do it for your TV, but even TV these days, you sometimes just buy your TV box and that's it. And it kind of reminds me of like the kind of old school way of, when people used to subscribe to magazines. I mean, people don't really subscribe to magazines that much anymore, do they? I mean, magazines are kind of like a dying thing, generally. I'm not saying they're completely dead, but we've got things like YouTube now. You don't need to go and watch a magazine. You don't need to go read a magazine, you just watch a YouTube video. I mean, and other MMOs rarely use a subscription business model, and a lot of MMOs out there make a lot of money without subscription. You look at League of Legends. It's making a lot of money, it's making bank. Guild Wars 2, a lot of MMOs. I mean, fair enough, Guild Wars 2 isn't like obviously as successful as WoW, but it doesn't have a subscription model, and it's doing, it's decent. I mean, at the end of the day, one of the main reasons why I can never get any of my friends into World of Warcraft is because there's a subscription. It costs a lot of money, and they were never really that into it. They'd play the trial, then just like never really continue playing it because it costs money, quite a bit. And I think it discourages people to actually play the game. I mean, if there was no subscription model, I think a lot more people would actually play the game. I mean, you could be looking at 20 million people. You could look at, we got apparently 10 million people playing right now. I reckon you could easily double that figure without a subscription model. I think a lot of people would definitely try the game out, and they wouldn't have to spend that much money. But obviously it's difficult to figure out how it would work without a subscription model. I have some ideas. The game would obviously have to change slightly. There would have to be a lot of... I wouldn't see Blizzard making a pay-to-win game. I mean, people immediately know that pay-to-win is never going to work in an MMO. We've seen so many failed MMOs using that kind of system. I don't think Blizzard would ever be that dumb. But I don't really have a problem with cosmetic microtransactions. Holy shit, my monitor's gone off. That's really helpful when I'm trying to like look at my bullet points and the monitor goes off. But I wouldn't mind like micro transactions, as long as they're purely cosmetic. End of the day, you can play League of Legends completely for free for years without spending a single penny if you wanted to. It's very easy. It just takes a little bit longer to get your champions, but you know, it doesn't really take that long. I mean, what, you could probably play the game for like a half a week and then be able to unlock a champion, and some of them are actually really cheap. And when I have, you know, bought a few skins for League of Legends, and you know, I've probably spent, you know, a bit more money than buying an actual game on League of Legends skins. And it's, you know, it's because you want to make yourself look a bit different, you know, keep things fresh. And I think they could easily add like cosmetic microtransactions into World of Warcraft, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people might, but at the end of the day, it's just cosmetic. It's just like they could add, you know, just old armor sets, but recolor the old armor sets to make them a little bit more interesting, or add. I think the problem that you could kind of predict is that if there were paid transmog sets, then they may spend like a little less effort on, you know, making the armor sets that you can get in game. So yeah, fair enough, that is a good point. But if they just made it, if they made like little tweaks and recolors, I think that would definitely be worth it. Or recolors of weapons, maybe just change the texture like slightly, just to make things a little bit more interesting. I was also thinking of race reskins. I mean, you've got, you know, for instance, for the Tauren, you've got different kinds of Tauren. You've got obviously the Tauren that live in Northrend, who look like a little bit different to the Tauren in Kalimdor. I mean, maybe you could pay money, maybe a $5, I think I'd pay a $5, to get like a reskin of a Tauren. I think that'd be pretty cool. So you would look a bit, you know, more like, well, they kind of look a bit more, I don't know what, well, they look less cowy, don't they, the Northrend Taurens. They kind of look more scary and monstrous. I mean, you've got a lot of options there. There's a lot of like alternative races like around in war or the game that you could easily swap around. I mean, like for instance, if you look at the orcs, in the game you only have the option to become a post-taint orc, you know, the post-drinking Manoroth blood orc, where the orcs are green. I mean, you can kind of make them a little bit beige, like how the orcs used to look. But it would be cool if there was a complete reskin to basically look like the warlords or Draenor orcs. I mean, the undead, I don't ever understand why the undead were always, well, I'm guessing like a zombie version of a human. Why not have a zombie version of an orc? You know, maybe mix things up and have different kind of undead abominations for you to actually play, just to keep things a little bit cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's different looking trolls as well, but you could just change a few things, like a few facial features, the texture slightly, the hairstyles, to make like a separate, like an extra race onto that race, an alternative version. I think that'd be really cool, and I'd definitely pay money for that. And I think a lot of people would. I mean, but another thing is like, how does it work? Like, do you pay like a $5, like how it, you know, how you have an in-game shop right now? Will it work a little bit like that, or will it work similar to Overwatch, where you have chests? You know, CS:GO, you have chests as well, and keys and stuff. Perhaps, you know, once a week you have a chest, a bit like the Mythic thing, and that unlocks, and you, or maybe you get the chance of getting a chest when you maybe level up. I don't think that would really work, because that's how it works in Overwatch. But I'm thinking like maybe once a week you get a chest for free, and it has a chance to have these cosmetic rewards. Or there could be like an in-game currency, you know, like riot points. You can earn that kind of currency, like for maybe a little bit slower for free without paying money. Yeah. I mean, maybe you get like bonus. You know how there's like that little extra box you get for playing as a tank or healer, to try and encourage people to play more tank and healer. Perhaps that box might give one of these cosmetic rewards, one of these unique transmog colours or something like that. Because you do have these items in game that you can get from the Darkmoon Fair right now. You just click them and it gives you an entire transmog set, so you're just basically already in the game. Maybe like also you could pay rather than that black auction house. Rather, you could pay for the unobtainable items like the tier 3 sets. I mean, I'd definitely pay money right now. I'd probably pay like £20 for a tier 3 set. Definitely pay money for that. So yeah, something like that. Would that really be a problem in World of Warcraft? Would that ruin the game? Would it make it pay to win? I don't think it would, personally, and I think it'd be a really good thing. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you don't have to buy all these cosmetic things. You don't have to do it. You can play the game completely for free. I was also thinking, obviously, the subscription fee kind of justifies the fact that there's content released every 6 months or so, if we're lucky. To be fair, I think the patches in the Legion are coming out pretty fast. But I mean, you got like roughly it's about 6 months in it before your patches come out. That's £60 at the end of the day. £60 for an extra raid. I mean, no, it's not really worth it. So I was thinking, a lot of games obviously function like you get the game, like for instance The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 was updated a lot of free updates, which is really cool. It's almost like playing an MMO, playing The Witcher 3. And obviously it released DLC, you had to pay about a tenner for the DLC. Maybe something like that could happen, like you could only unlock the next raid tier content if you paid, for instance, £5 to £10. I wouldn't even be that bothered by that, to be honest. If I was enjoying the game and I wanted to keep playing the game, I'd definitely pay like £10, every 6 months or so. At the end of the day, I'm paying £10 a bloody month. A lot of 10 million people are paying £10 a month. Would £10 every 6 months be, how would you ever have a problem with that if you're already paying £10 a month? So yeah, at the end of the day, you're paying for what you get. A lot of time, I've been subscribed to World of Warcraft and I literally haven't logged in for a month, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm so subscribed to a game, I haven't played it for an entire month and I've just spent a tenner on it. I mean, you do get that a lot, because once you've defeated all the raids and stuff, you've done all the content, you do kind of stay subscribed for some reason, and it's really a waste of money. When you've got nothing to do in the game, it is kind of a waste of money. But anyway, I don't think I've got... Oh yeah, I was also thinking like mount reskins, like just change the colour of certain mounts slightly, or things like that. And obviously increase, because you could you already have buyable mounts in the game, perhaps develop that. Because at the end of the day, I think they did acknowledge that designing mounts costs the most amount of money to hire somebody to do that. So, and armour, like the art of the game is what costs the most money. And if you're putting a lot of money into making a lot of good art, like more art into the game, and then getting, if you have to pay for that art, you basically getting money for the art that you're releasing. And I think the problem is, basically, Blizzard are already making quite a lot of money with a certain amount of subscribers. They could remove a sub fee, take that risk. They know for a fact that they'll get more people playing, but will they make as much money? They don't really want to take that risk. They're already making money, and it's just happy days for them. They don't want to reduce it, they don't want to do anything, because at the end of the day they're just making money with their business model that they currently have, and that's why it'll probably never ever change. Unless somebody, to be fair, you've got a lot of restaffing has been happening recently, so maybe some new member of staff might start something like this, like a no-sub, turn World of Warcraft into a no-sub business model, but more of a cosmetic microtransaction business model. I personally think the game will probably actually make more money if it was a microtransaction cosmetic business model. I think it would make more money, because millions of people are playing. Think about how many people play League of Legends. Right, a lot of people play that game, and it makes a lot of money, and it doesn't cost you any money to play the game, but it still makes a lot of money. So yeah. But anyway, end of the day, I've spent over £1,000 in World of Warcraft. I think it's a bit ridiculous. That's all I'm gonna say. You may think the sub fee is a good thing, because it means that they will be more encouraged to release content, but I mean, look at Walter Draenor. Do you think the subscription fee motivated them you know, you have the subscription fee. That kind of argument is a little bit weak because, you know, in Warlords of Draenor we had a really bad shortage of content, yet loads of people paying money for the game, so I don't think we can just confidently say that, oh, subscription fee means more content. I mean, maybe it does in Legion. I think things are definitely going up at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to end the video there. Anyway, my name is the Metagoblin, and until my next video, ciao.